Welcome to Solutions OP Clinical Trials Podcast. My name is Olga and I'm the Managing Director of Solutions OP. We are a small team of experienced professionals working on clinical trials in the United Kingdom. I'll use our podcast to discuss hot topics in clinical trials and provide analysis of the latest trends and challenges in pharma and medical device industries, not just in the UK but globally. Thank you for listening. Welcome to the latest episode of the podcast. In this episode, I will discuss why is the UK losing the big pharma investment at the moment. Those of you who follow the news in September 2025, you know that the big pharma companies many big pharma companies are pausing or stopping their investment in the UK. And in this episode, I plan to analyze what happened and what triggered these events. But let's start with a little bit of history. So the European and many Asian countries have price regulators for new branded drugs. So once the drug is approved in the specific country, the manufacturer has to reach out to the price regulator in the country and agree on the price. So this is done in countries where there is a state-funded healthcare system. So that's why I say that's very common in many European countries and in some Asian countries as well. However, recently, the US government discovered that the European countries have a more aggressive approach towards prices. And as a result, the prices of branded drugs in Europe are a lot lower than the USA ones. So what they did was to warn the big pharma companies that they should sell drugs on a lot lower prices in the USA, or make sure the European countries pay their fair share of the profit, and that pharma companies don't use only US market to recover their development costs. So we should not forget in this case that the price of the drugs in the USA is usually paid by patients, and in some cases it's recovered by insurance companies. So I don't think the US government has been unreasonable to have these expectations, and similar to the European governments, they're trying to protect their own patients. So what happened in the meantime in the UK is that the government is trying to fix its budget deficit, and it's looking for places where they can get money from. The fact that the pharma industry has been seen as wealthy and making money from diseases created an easy target from them. So it's I think in human nature that we always see the final result, but never the work that led to that result. So it's very common. People don't quite understand the investment and the amount of money that someone has to put into developing a new product, that it takes 10 years and sometimes even more than 10 years, and it costs sometimes billions, and just reaching the market by itself is not a guarantee for success that you'll be able to recover even a fraction of this cost. From outside the point of view, you see they sell drugs at the higher prices and you think, well, they're making a lot of profit. So of course they try to be profitable. That's normal for businesses. But at the same time, I think there's not quite a clear understanding of the cost involved in developing drugs. So the Association of the British Pharmaceutical Industry published a report in September 2025 where they explained that there are very high clawbacks in the UK, which is 23.5% on new medicines in 2023. So while in other European countries there's a much lower rates, like 5.7% in France and 7% in Germany. There are rumors that the UK government is aiming to increase these even further and reach 31%. But let's explain first what are these clawbacks. So the price the regulator agrees to purchase in bulk drugs from pharma company at a specific price. However, some of these drugs will expire or not be used for some reason. So there is a scheme where the companies pay back to the government some of the money from the contracts. So that's basically what is the clawback. They're paying back to the government some of the money from their contract. And as I mentioned to you, in France is 5.7%, in Germany 7%, but in the UK in 2023 that's 23.5%. So just imagine you have a contract with a client and they're purchasing something from you, and they pay you, you provide them the goods, and then they come back at some point and say, well, can you just pay me back now 23.5% from what I've paid you? Because, I have waste and I have other expenses here. So basically, I think you won't be very happy if that happens to you. And you can understand why the pharma companies are not happy when this happened to them. Because they use these money, obviously, to invest in different areas and then having to pay back, especially if you have a difficult economic situation like we have at the moment. It's a significant commitment from their side to have to pay back all these money. And also it affects their overall turnover and how they manage their internal operations. So obviously this is one of the reasons why the companies are not happy, because the percentage in the UK is a lot higher than in other European countries, for example. Another big challenge mentioned in the report is that the UK invests 9% of its healthcare spending in medicine in comparison to 14% in Germany, 17% in Spain and 20% in Japan. But spending on medicines is not the only investment that the government has to do. In order for a pharma company to build manufacturing facility in the country, the government should provide some financial support too, because new facility means more jobs, more investment, more taxes. In addition, the pharma company will not demolish it one day when they don't want to use it anymore, and it will remain in the country together with all the equipment and the human expertise that you have as part of the drug development process. So I think it's fair to say that the government has a direct benefit from having new manufacturing facility in the country. What happened, however, is the UK government decided not to provide the agreed financial support to the companies. So while I understand their concerns about financial aspects of such initiative, unfortunately this is a very short-sighted approach, and it seems they have not fully understood the long-term benefit of such investment. And the result is AstraZeneca has posted a £200 million investment in Cambridge, England, which is equivalent of $271 million US. And as part of this project, they were going to employ around 1,000 people. And when I say 1,000 employees, I mean people who are highly qualified, because manufacturing jobs are highly qualified jobs. Merck is moving its £1 billion R&D centre and future UK headquarters out of the UK. So that's the equivalent of $1.31 billion US. And in addition, they will abandon their research labs in London Bioscience Innovation Centre and the Francis Crick Institute, which will result of approximately 125 lost jobs. Eli Lilly have paused the development of their new research labs, which were part of a £279 million investment in the UK. That's equivalent of $378 million US. And also there are other companies like Johnson & Johnson, Novartis and Roche who are also considering how they will proceed with the investment in the UK. So all this could be avoided. It's not the case that the UK became less attractive to investors, nor this is some kind of punishment from the international community because of Brexit. I know this is very convenient excuse, but this is not the case. It's all self-inflicted as a result of bad decisions. And I think it's about time that the UK government realizes that you cannot have innovations if you're not willing to pay for them, and that spending only 9% of your healthcare budget on purchasing drugs is very unrealistic if you want to have the best treatments for your patients. I think we need to be a bit more realistic what we want to do, and hopefully the government will receive adequate advice on how to handle the situation, and we'll see the return of this investment back to the UK. Thank you for listening.